What's going on, guys? So last week was pretty good. The NFP ended up pushing the pairs EURUSD, GBPUSD up to new highs and dropped the USDJPY. So it was really good on the dollar. There wasn't any whiplash, or whipsaws, I would say, where it drops and then continues up real fast. It was just straight movement right here, which was crazy. So I just got done doing my analysis for the pay members, and what we decided to look at was this potential setup. So I'm going to draw it out for you, the couple setups that I see playing out, and then we'll go from there. So based on what we're seeing, I see a potential head and shoulders forming based off the divergence here. You got a left shoulder, a head, and a potential push back up for a right shoulder, and then a drop, right? That's one thing, but I know this pair, and it doesn't usually move clean like that unless it has like a nice W formation to do that. What I think might happen is like a straightaway drop where it just shows the divergent M, and instead of pulling back up to complete the head and shoulders, it's going to go down, hit the CMA, consolidate, throw a continuation pattern, and then drop as this 50 EMA comes around and bounces off of it and continues it. And then from there, it'll go down to this demand zone, which will fill in all the imbalances from the push up last week and ultimately get it set up to continue in the new trend that it is going. Because if we look at the higher time frames, I'll show you real quick. If we go to, let's say, the weekly, price last week reacted and pushed up for NFP because you see all these trend lines here. This one specifically, if we zoom out a little bit more, and I'll go down, it was really, really well respected over the last, fucking 14 years, 13 years now. No, I can't do math. That's 12, 15 years. Sorry. So 15, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7 areas, probably 8 areas that this thing reacted. It just bounced off of it over the last 5 weeks, 6 weeks ago, and then it just shot up in continuation with that integrity of that trend line. So with that being said, I think what we're going to see is this on the daily is a drop down and then a push up, right? So obviously the first thing, in order for it to push up, we need to see it shoot down. So that's why I have it going down tonight. I don't think it's going to be a head and shoulders. I think it's just going to be a straight drop, and that's the move I'm going to be waiting for during New York session if I get up to get it. But ultimately, that's what we're looking for. If we go to GU, it's essentially the same thing. It doesn't have the same structure on the higher time frames as EU, but it is hitting a zone where it did break a high. It's hitting the EMAs, and now that's hitting the EMAs. It's setting up for that pull back down to retest, and then a continuation up. So in order for it to do that, we go down to the 1 hour. You'll see the divergence that I was talking about. Usually GU is one, it doesn't usually straight drop as much, but you have the divergence here, there. The GU is one of the pairs where it goes down, consolidates, and then it stop hunts more than, let's say, EU, and then it drops. So I'm thinking that that's what we're going to see. But ultimately, the overall objective for tonight is a continuation down. So let's just see what it does when it hits these EMAs. It'll consolidate, and it'll either just straight drop down or it'll stop on high, then it'll drop. But that's what we're looking at for GU. Now let's go to UJ. Out of all the pairs I looked at tonight, UJ was the ugliest, mainly because there's just no structure, I think, at the moment. And when I say structure, I mean patterns, things being broken that I like to see that are just comfortable to my eye, that I like to, enter on. But ultimately, what I think is going to happen, just based on how all the other pairs are, I think we're just going to see this thing continue up ultimately to like these zones right here, because this whole area is supply, right? It's where price consolidated for a day and a half, 2 days, and now I think it wants to go up, grab that liquidity, and then either reverse off of it or consolidate on it again and continue up to these highs, because I do think we are going to see it push back up to this high. But if it goes up to here, it doesn't take it out, this thing for sure will drop, right? So that's what we're looking at for the pairs tonight. I think you guys should favor EU and GU, honestly, because that's where my eyes are at, and one other pair too, but that's for the pay members. So uh thanks for hopping on, guys. Let's see how we end up doing tonight, and we'll crush it tomorrow. Peace out.